the Gravity 15-foot competition one, designed by CND. I'm doing a little review on this CND 15-1 competition Spey rod. I have my Gale Force comp head. It's the equalizer altitude, and it has been modified down to 67 feet and about 925 grains. And though this rod can obviously handle more grains, this thing is phenomenal. Even grained a little on the lighter side, I'm sure it just could take a ton of grains. This rod is just, it's one of those rods that it's fast, but it's not stiff. It bends, but it doesn't overbend. It's just perfect. My idea of a perfect rod is when I lift my line, when I get the slack out and lift the line out of the water, the line comes. The rod doesn't bend, hardly at all. It just comes right away. Now that'll change with sunk lines, of course, but this rod will have a great ability. I mean, it'll lift sunk lines like nobody's business. I don't like to have a bunch of lag when I lift the line out of the water. And this thing is so straightforward. It's very powerful. Got a great down locking reel seat with a nice kind of four-sided or whatever reel seat. And it's got cork that isn't like this long. It's just perfect cork, a little swell right here. It's just super functional, gorgeous. It's got this fancy, I don't know, you can just kind of see the graphite in the inserts here. It's just phenomenal. Gorgeous green. None of that matters to me, but some people it does. But it's so easy to cast. Effortless, powerful, straightforward, no weirdness in the blank. It bends enough to get the job done, but it isn't stiff by any means. When you get it out of the package, if you buy a new one, you might feel like it's a little stiff. But when you put a line on it, these good rods, they just come to life. Yeah, by the way, this is Brian's rod. This is my good casting partner's new comp rod. And he done really good. You cannot go wrong. Cannot go wrong. It's the Gravity 15-foot competition one, designed by CND, world record holding distance rod. But you could easily fish with this thing. It's that light and comfortable, and a nice rod like this really requires what's the opposite of effort? That's what it requires. The opposite of effort. It's very efficient. It's just lovely. Easy to cast. If you're wanting a competition rod, you cannot go wrong at all with this rod. The Gale Force equalizer altitude or weapon, either one of those lines will work. Not much of a grain difference. And we don't know what this running line is, but Fin and Fire has this running line, whatever it is, this yellow stuff. And he stretched it once, and then he put it back on the reel, and he got it out today. And this stuff is so limber and limp. So if you're looking for a good running line, get a hold of the guys at Fin and Fire Fly Shop and ask them what's the yellow stuff they sold Brian. I was going to tell you guys about comp casting. I've only been in one casting competition, and I've made all four of the cast, and that's something in itself. I did do Poppy's cast. Poppy has one at the Clearwater Clave, and that was a disaster. I really sucked, and I would have given up if Bruce Kreck hadn't given me a big hug at the end of it. So you got to have good support if you're going to do this stuff. Now, Brian is not the hugging type, but he's always there on time, and that's important too. So what I would say about Speyorama, if you want to go to Speyorama, make sure that you're not cheating on your direction changes, because like for these videos, it's easy for me to make a 20-degree direction change or a switch cast to make the line look pretty. But when you go to the competition and you step in balls deep water and you remembered you forgot to put your pants on, it's amazing how deep it is for one. And then they got the floaty thing set up, and 40-degree angle change is a lot bigger than probably we're used to fishing and casting. So that part can be real intimidating. You got a 40-degree angle change. So, you know, we're not just switch casting like this. You know, you gotta rotate around. And that might have been 40. It might not. I'm not sure. I might have cheated you guys. That might be not really 40. The other thing is there's a marker set out at 100 feet, and it's the 100-foot marker. At least the one I went to. I went to the Rose Spey casting competition, or the Rose City. It was in Portland at the Westmoreland Casting Ponds, and like Greg Bensavinga was there. Simon from Next Cast Lines was there. He's a good competition caster. Charles St. Pierre, I think, he was there. Tyler Kushner was there. So there's really good casters. And of course then Travis Johnson came in and just kind of blew, you know, he was awarded the reel. He won the championship, as of course. So it was really cool, but the thing about there's a 100-foot marker, or there was, it is a long ways away. Man, it is really, 100 feet is a very long way. So don't think it's gonna be easy. It is very hard. The guys that do these things are super athletes, or they have worked so hard and so much that the common guy can't even fathom how much work they've put in to do the cast, to get a left-handed single spey, a right-handed single spey, left snake roll, right snake roll. You got wind changing all the time, so there's an element of competition, and that has nothing to do with casting. It's got a lot to do with being smart and going with the wind and knowing how to change the cast and all that stuff, which I knew nothing about. So there's always that, and you got to do it in the wind. And so I heard that you have to cast each cast 125 feet just to qualify. That's what I heard. So if you're gonna do it, you should probably cast all the casts a lot. You should probably do a lot of angle changes. Make sure that you're not cheating yourself on the angle changes, and you can get an app for your phone that'll show you a 40-degree angle change, because it's just different. So you just have to practice your brains out, and don't worry about stuff that doesn't matter. The biggest thing is that you get your angle change and the fly turns over. You know, whether you should have a 15-foot leader or a 13-foot 9-inch leader, that stuff doesn't matter. You just got to be legal, which is under 15 feet, and you know, all the running line, get Barabas running line, 36 or 42, whatever. But there's a lot of practice and dedication involved, a lot of angle changes. What we think of as a 100-foot cast is really, it's really 100 feet. It's really long. So anyway, that's what I have to say. And you want to really, there's 3 rods you can get: Gale Force, Bruce and Walker, and CND. Those are the 3 movers and shaker rods. So you can't go wrong with coarse line, of course. But you just really got to practice. Anyway, buy one of these. That was Brian's fault. I'll do it again.